So this is the walkway as you head up to Satoshi Forest, Sean's Outpost, and as you can see, it's just a secluded area that you would never notice from the road unless you were trying to find it. In fact, I was trying to find it and still had a bit of a difficult time. And this is Michael Kimbrell. He is the operator, one of the founders of the place. And as you were just telling me, Michael, if you look on the ground, you can see that the whole ground is covered in broken glass because this, for years and years, has been a place where people just dumped things.
Yeah, illegally dumped garbage and different debris, construction debris, things like that. And we have steadily been cleaning it up. We've had multiple cleanup days where volunteers have come out and cleaned up. And then every time it rains, more glass washes up to the surface.
And you were just telling me a minute ago that apparently people have been dumping here so long that you actually found a glass Clorox?
Yeah, glass Clorox bleach
Good
bottles.
Lord. So this is not a new thing that people were dumping out here?
Oh, no, sir. It's been quite a while.
And we'll kind of take you around and hopefully meet some of the guys who live here. And but this is just kind of, exactly, except for the fact that it's all glass and nasty in the ground. It's when you think of a campground, this is what a campground looks like.
Mm-hmm. Morning.
So this is just kind of what it looks like. Bunch of folks in very impromptu makeshift tents and dwellings, and when you hear it described as a forest with a campsite, this is what you see. On the other side there is that's where the first houses are, right? That's the next set of houses up over there. Okay, but that can you go through there, or is it all? I see it's closed right now, but
yeah, you technically could, but we have not opened that gate in literally years.
Now how many folks do you have staying here right now?
We are currently right at 15.
Okay.
We're at capacity.
That's the most you could have right now.
Yeah.
And what determines, because I mean obviously physically there'd be enough space to have more, what is your determinant of 15?
So originally when we were going before the Developmental Review Board, there was a segment of the code that stated as long as you had less than 15 people on your property, you could move forward with having them on the property. And
okay.
While going through that process, it just kind of felt like a comfortable number.
Okay.
We have asked the county in our developmental review process to up it to 30 people or 20 camps, whichever comes first, because we have couples out here, so one camp would sometimes have two people.
Okay.
But we definitely don't want it too overcrowded.
Right. Now, what is the reason for that? Is it because of feeling like that puts you on better legal ground, or because of just sanitary concerns, or what is it about that kind of keeping it more open that is a goal for you guys?
Well, one, the more moving parts that you have, the more complex it gets. And so dealing with the ins and outs of people's daily lives, I can only handle so much.
Got it. Okay. So from a management point of view, essentially.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Very good. And this is now year 4, is that right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Wow.
It doesn't feel like it, but time has definitely flown by.
And pretty much every day you've been out here, there's been some kind of legal jeopardy or challenge over your head hanging over this, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. And so the folks up, I assume they don't pay anything. They're here. How does the money work, if any, to maintain the operation?
So we do not charge any money. We are solely through private donations. And we also do not put stipulations on how long someone's able to stay out here.
Okay.
I know that I've gotten a lot of flack from that throughout the years. But working with the homeless, everyone out here is out here for a different reason, and the time it takes to get back out of here is different for everyone. So say if someone's waiting on disability, that can take years of legal challenges just to get disability insurance benefits. So to say, well, your 30 days is up, back to the streets with you, just doesn't seem fair. So
right.
We don't put stipulations on people, but we also do expect, productivity to come out of people. Like, it's not just a place to sit around and drink beer all day, so.
So they're supposed to help clean or maintain, essentially do basic chores is kind of the goal. And
yeah, so the rules here are, we try to keep them real simple. The number one rule is respect. I mean, respect the forest, the property, each other, If someone's being too loud at night, politely ask them to turn it down. We provide garbage pickup and portalets, so there's no excuse not to keep your area clean.
Okay. Is there electricity?
There is no electricity.
And water, running water?
We do have running water.
Okay.
And some of the guys, if you pan over this way, you can see some solar panels. And
right.
so they'll use solar panels to charge up like a car battery.
Okay.
And then can charge up phones and laptops and things like that. So, to help them throughout the day.
And now, are most of these folks, you said that they're expected to work. Are they expected to be making effort towards achieving regular housing situation, or are you fine with them staying here on an indefinite basis?
So I would prefer not an indefinite basis.
Okay.
But there are these weird gray zones in our society where people don't qualify for any kind of benefits, and through working with them, I can see that they don't have the ability to either maintain a steady job or can physically maintain a steady job. And so I do have a couple of people that have been out here for a number of years.
Okay.
But I have one couple up here in the corner that would probably love to talk to you.
Okay.
That have been waiting for over 6 months for low-income housing.
Okay.
And they're, I think, down to 10 people ahead of them or something real close to that. So within the next month or so, they're actually going to get into housing.
Which there's less of since the tornado, because that took out some of those apartment complexes over on Scenic. So,
oh yeah.
What is there a waiting list for people to get in here? If you're 15, is it like your cap?
There is, yes. And usually, so what I do is I interview the people and see if I think they'd be a good fit. Mm-hmm. And then I bring them out here once they get through my interview to meet everyone out here, and they have kind of an initial first impression, kind of feel them out. And then they have a 30-day trial period. So at any time in the 30 days, if the community out here comes together and says you're not working out, you've got to go,
okay,
then they have to leave. And that works out two different ways. One is that you can sometimes pull the wool over my eyes, but you cannot pull the wool over your neighbors. I mean,
right.
They're going to see your dirty habits. And we do not allow any drugs or violence. We do allow alcohol, but no belligerency. So,
okay.
If someone has a few too many drinks and then comes in someone else's camp causing a problem, they're going to be asked to leave.
Which is, I assume, one of the issues with some of the shelters is, they have to be alcohol-free, obviously drug-free, but they have to be alcohol-free, and so if that's a challenge for them, then this is a place where they don't have that restriction.
Exactly.
As long as they're not belligerent or causing trouble.
Yeah, as long as they're being adult about it, and there's some people that, have substance abuse problems, and they're not welcome here. Like, if you're going to abuse the substance, that, you're not welcome. But if you're a grown adult and want to have a couple beers after a hard day of looking for jobs or, talking with lawyers or whatever it is that you're doing to try and better your situation, then I feel that you have every right to.
Well, great. Well, let's go meet, see if somebody wants to talk.
All right. Would you like to have a seat or anything?
We can just stand. It's fine with me. I
you're
stay
pressed for
awake.
time.
No, but I stay awake too. If I sit down, I'll fall asleep. All right. So we have Cheryl and Anthony, and this is where they live right now. As you can see, it's 3 tents sort of pulled together,
2 tents and one
and a
canopy.
tarp and a tarp in between.
Yes.
So you guys live here at Sean's Outpost. Why are you here?
We are here because I lost my job and I could no longer afford to pay hotels. And this nice gentleman, we bounced around to several other camps.
Okay.
And I was threatened at one of the camps. And yeah, that happens at some. And I asked Mike when I found this camp if we could come here. And we've been here 1 year. 1 year and a few days.
October 31st.
Was 1 year. And I'm actually on a housing waiting list. We're number 15. And I did find out today, the lady said it could take maybe a year, but...
From now still?
Yeah,
oh my goodness.
But I don't think she's correct on that, because I put my application in on May 4th.
Okay.
And I went from number 50 from May 4th to today, number 15.
Right.
I don't think the lady is accurate.
Well, she probably just doesn't want to get your hopes up.
Yeah.
Rather tell you it's going to be a while, and then
I'm ready. I'm ready. But
So, how did y'all become homeless in the first place? Did you? I mean, I assume you had
because I lost my job.
because of your job. Okay, you
Yes.
said that. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Because I lost my job, and right now we live on his disability.
Okay.
And with his disability, it can't pay rent, lights, gas, water, and he also has dementia. So I have to kind of stay close to him, or have somebody kind of
You need a caretaker.
oversee. And out here at Sean's Outpost, when I leave, everybody knows, okay, Anthony's home alone. Let's keep an eye out on him. And so
This has been kind of a lifesaver for you guys.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
And a safe alternative
Safe
to
haven.
where you had been before, where
Yes.
you didn't feel safe.
No.
And that's kind of going back to what you were saying a moment ago about you work to create and preserve a kind of community that has standards where at least people know that they are safe and secure, and they can trust their persons and their stuff.
Exactly. Yes.
Wow. So right now you're waiting to get into public housing of some
Yes.
sort. Is that right?
Yes.
And would you also need some kind of a breakthrough in terms of finances, or would you be able to move, like if that list accelerated, would you be able to move in basically
I will
today?
be able to move in. I take a part-time job every once in a while, cleaning housing,
Okay.
and I put that money in the bank for us to move.
So it's really just rent, essentially.
Yeah.
Rent, utilities is your big
Yeah.
obstacle. You have enough to live on once that's taken care of.
Yes.
Are you guys from Pensacola, or?
No,
I'm
he's
from
from
Virginia.
Virginia,
Okay.
and I'm originally from Ohio, but planted in Mississippi.
Okay.
But I moved to Virginia 18 years ago. That's when I met him.
Wow.
From here.
From right.
And now we're back 18 years later.
Well, thank you. I mean, thank you for talking to me, and I hope it works, and I hope you're right. I hope it's much sooner. It sounds like mathematically it'd be sooner. So
I think it'd be sooner. It just depends on how many people decide to mess up and get kicked out, or just up and move.
And one of the things I was asking Michael, and you tell me if I have it right, that when the tornado came through and destroyed all the apartments over off of Scenic, that put an extra stress on public housing in this area.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Anybody gets their home damaged, it makes it rough on everybody. Now they become homeless.
Yeah. And you said the other camps that you had stayed at, were they? Are these just impromptu? Is just where people happen to be together, or was it organized like this is?
No,
Yeah,
they're
these would
far-
be what you would call an illegal encampment.
Okay.
Yeah.
So these other places are just where people happen to find a spot and they
Yeah.
pitch a tent and they hope they don't get thrown out.
Somebody told me about this spot that we went to, and there was only him and I and one other person way further back in.
Okay.
And now there's 80 or 90 people over there at
Because
that camp.
word travels.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
So,
say it's that many, but there is quite a few people. Back
well,
there.
I don't know. Somebody told me one day it was about 80 or 90 in there, but who knows? But Mike is a godsend. I wish we had more camps around like this to get people like us that do have an income but can't afford to get into a place and be able to stay safe.
Something transitional. Something for the overflow, essentially, while you're waiting.
Well, as you see, I made this our home.
Right.
I have a kitchen. This tent is actually my bedroom. I have a queen-size bed in it.
Can we go look?
You go look. It's a
Because
little dirty.
you know what happens is, and me too. I mean, you hear the term homeless and you make assumptions about what that means, but
This is our makeshift living room. Like I said, it's a little dirty.
well, I've got 3 kids. That happens to me too.
This is our bedroom.
Okay.
I mean,
So
I'm
and the
living like I'm in a home.
right. Now you get power. Do you have solar
have-
cells or?
I have solar panels for my lights here.
Okay.
I have a generator, which is out there, that
Okay, with-
also gives me electricity.
And you cook with the propane, I see.
And I cook with propane.
Okay.
Trying to get turned to
Oh, it's okay. Oh, okay. So here's the generator out behind. Now, have you folks had very much, if any, interaction with the folks on the street behind, or? And Michael, have you? I mean, I don't know if you've talked with them very much recently. I know in the beginning there were some who were objecting and some who were not. Have you had any news on that front, or any perception change by them?
So we've had a few that were adamantly against us that have, I guess, taken a neutral position.
Okay.
And they've actually had conversations with some of the residents here as they've come and gone.
Okay.
And have kind of gotten the understanding that, this isn't a pirate's den, or, that, we're regulating who does stay here. Other of the members of the community surrounding us are still very adamantly against us.
Sure.
But then we also have members of the neighborhood that bring firewood in, and I mean, so there's a mixed match of community opinions,
which is pretty normal, and I mean,
we also
that
have
many people.
somebody that lives over there that are working on our roads. At Christmas time, we had a couple families last year brought us food out. They cooked it and brought us meals. So it's not everybody over in the neighborhood are against us. So.
And you have, it seems like you have what I would think of as a lot, you have a lot of stuff, which,
I am collecting for my new apartment.
Oh, so this is planning ahead for it to have everything that you would need.
Planning ahead. I don't want to move and have to start
inquiring.
Yes, I have 3 cats here. 2 of them are about to go to their original owner, which I'm going to talk to you about so we can deliver them.
Okay.
I can't remember how to get to his camp.
Okay, I can get it over there.
So.
Well, thank you for talking to me. I really appreciate it.
No.
And I think this is kind of the reason I wanted to come out here, is because most people have heard about here, and they've heard about some of the legal challenges and struggles, and they have a picture of what homelessness is or what this place is, and I just wanted to see for myself and also let other people have a chance so they know what's happening. And I assume that if people want to help, if they feel the need to give or desire to give, that's always welcome. Whether it's money or services or just whatever,
just coming out and volunteering as well. Yeah,
very good. And if they want to get a hold of you, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you, Michael?
My phone number, it's 850-287-0792.
All right, one more time.
850-287-0792.
All right, very good. So this is the solar panel that you have sitting out to collect energy, and you were saying that'll do you for
8 to 12 hours.
Huh.
And it stores.
So you store it in a car battery. Okay, and then you run your house off the car battery.
This is actually a marine boat battery.
Oh, right. Okay, I see. Huh.
Now that's a smaller version to the one he has.
And he's got a larger one.
He has the larger one.
And that's pretty common out here, is that way of collecting electricity for a lot of folks.
Just 2 of us.
Yeah, currently there's only 2 that, and Frank has some little miniature
Frank
ones.
And, God, I can't think of his name, Daryl.
Yeah, but...
So does everybody else come here at night because you have the electricity? No? Okay.
Well, there's several of us that has generators.
Oh, okay.
There's currently 1, 2, 3 of us that have generators.
And see, this is something that I know my own perception is, that if you're homeless, you're essentially broke. That you don't have any money to spend on anything, but clearly that's not true. You have at least some money to spend on...
We have his Social Security check that comes in, and that's basically what we live on.
Okay.
Now...
And that would be food, that would be propane,
right.
Basic...
But see, when we get into the apartment, that's why I'm strictly trying to stick to low-income housing. Because if I don't work, I could still afford to pay the bills with his check.
Got it.
And be his caretaker.
And take care of him, because
correct.
In an environment like that, you don't have quite as many safeguards as here, and it's unsure whether you could safely leave him for the day.
Right.
Huh.
I left him overnight the other night and went to work. So, I mean, he's okay. He's still alive. He ain't burned my tent down.
Oh, I need to fix that faucet.
So this is how y'all get your water?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Now, is that a ground well, or is that...
That's ECUA.
Okay.
We have 5 spigots on the property, kind of almost 4 corners and 1 kind of in the middle.
And you pay them, I assume, pay them like any ordinary residents?
Yeah, along with garbage. They do our garbage pickup as well.
And just refresh my memory, Michael, what is your current... I don't want to put you staring in the sun here.
Yeah, the sun's kind of...
I know, it's...
Right.
So... The last hurdle was that you guys were, the judge sided with you but that's not the end of the discussion. You're concerned there's going to be a continued issue, right?
Yeah, so there was one thing that the judge said, I guess, held validity in the county's argument, and that was there, on our site plan, I guess we had done a typo and put in a 10-foot vegetative buffer where there should have been a 20-foot vegetative buffer on the map. But,
and that's between you and, that's like this
yeah,
bit over here.
Yeah, commercial to residential, there needs to be 20 foot of vegetative buffering. And so, like, this is all the neighborhood. You can barely see it.
Yeah, I can see, right.
There's roughly a 20-foot vegetative buffer that exists, but on the map it says 10 foot.
Okay, so you actually have in place 20 feet, but the site plan that you filed with the county only has 10 feet, and that's why they're concerned about that.
Exactly.
Okay. So can you modify the site plan and file a new one, or is it?
So when we sent an email to the county and asked them if we could do that, they said that the Board of Adjustments hearing wasn't to argue whether or not we were now willing to come into compliance, but as to whether or not they had the right to deny us the permit based off of us not being in compliance on the site plan. So I mean, they're arguing a technicality that I think could easily be resolved, but you know, we'll see where it goes.
And when do you have that next round of hearings, if at all?
A week from today.
Wow.
So
okay.
Next Monday.
All right. Thanks, Michael.
You're very welcome. That's to gravel a road leading all the way up to the porterlets here.
Okay.
Which we weren't necessarily against. It was just that it would then require us to put in a water retention pond, which would have, you know, been so astronomical it would have been a project killer for us. And also there was nothing in the code stating that that was a requirement. And the judge agreed with us that there was nothing in the code. And so, you know, hopefully with the vegetative buffering, you know, argument will soon be permitted, you know.
Assuming that gets done.
Yeah.
All right, so here we have Russell is another one of the occupants here with his 3 gorgeous dogs, by the way, who are all very friendly, and at least these 2 are very puppy. How long have you been out here, Russell?
Almost 2.5 years.
2.5 years. And do you have a sort of a next phase that you're planning for, or do you plan to stay here indefinitely?
No, I'm planning on getting a house.
Okay.
And getting back up on my feet.
And you're saving for that right now, or is it something you're...
Right now, I'm working on a disability.
Okay. And I see you have sort of 1 tent and a awning and then a generator that you use for power at night.
Well, I only use that sometime during the day, but I've got solar panels.
Oh, this is yours. Okay.
This is mine.
Okay.
That I use. I also use the solar panels and stuff to charge up my Dremel tools. I do glass engravings.
Oh, okay. And that's something that you then sell, or you sell that service?
I sell it.
Very good. Well, nice to meet you, Russell. Thank you for the time.
You're welcome.
You know, one thing that I really noticed while we're kind of walking around, it's very calm.
Oh yeah, no,
it's very, I mean, it's serene, honestly.
Yeah, no, it's one of the issues that we encounter in homelessness is people are in survival mode.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really difficult for them to accomplish the goals that they're wanting to accomplish when they're trying to find a place to sleep at night. They're sleeping with one eye open because someone might try to rob them, or the cops are going to roust them up because they're sleeping where they're not supposed to be. They're malnourished, they're dehydrated, so their cognitive functioning isn't where it ought to be to get themselves out of the situation. And so that was our number one goal with this, is to provide a safe space where you can kind of decompress and be like, okay, all of my basic needs are taken care of. Now how do I get myself out of homelessness? You know, so we aren't so much of like, you know, when people ask me like, well, how many people have you gotten out of homelessness? I'm usually like, none. I just alleviate the barriers so people can get themselves out of homelessness. I'm here to empower them, not to do it for them.
Yeah, and there can be it can be kind of a crushing everything is coming at me all the time, so that you're just, as you said, in survival or reactive mode instead of being able to plan, be creative, be productive. I mean, I saw guys back there working on some crafts, and that might not be their way out, but if you're having to look around every moment to make sure that somebody's not coming at you, that's a entirely different way of living.
Exactly.
And is this a garden area over here, or?
This was another reason I wish I brought the map. So this is owned by the neighbors.
Oh, okay.
And along with this square right in here.
I was just going to say, I mean, you clearly, if you could use this, have more capacity, but...
Yeah, exactly. And so this was ECUA property.
Okay.
It was surplus property, and we had petitioned them to sell it, and they put it up for auction, and there were two bidders, us and the neighbors outbid us.
Okay.
And so this became their property.
So they own it, but they're not doing anything with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of landlocked, so there's very little they can do with it other than just enjoy it.
Okay. Do they come over here ever, or?
They do.
Okay.
Mr. Biles is one of the residents, and anytime we see each other, we have very nice, cordial conversations. He's one of the ones that isn't gonna speak out for us, but also, I think he
doesn't
started
actively
to
oppose.
understand that we're not here to cause problems.
And same thing over here. This is owned by somebody else.
This is also owned by them.
Oh, by them. Okay.
So this is what I guess is referred to as a spite strip. When they break a piece of property up,
Okay.
they cut this property into this section over here to prevent access to the larger piece of property.
So do you own this road?
We do not. So
Oh.
we are technically standing on their property.
Okay.
But at some point in time, someone granted a permanent easement
Okay.
over the spite strip, which eliminated the spite strip.
So we're
it's-
standing on the easement on their land.
Correct.
Interesting.
And so we have legal right to cross the property.
Very good. Wow. What a complex set of circumstances you inhabit.
Yes. Oh, yes. It definitely made to where we needed a land use attorney. And that was the first thing he said to us when we contacted him. Was he was like, "I read about you in the paper," and first thing I thought was those guys are going to need a good land use attorney. And it just so happened we gave him a call, and he's represented us ever since.
So one of the things I was just asking Michael about is that transportation seems like a big hiccup. Getting from here to anywhere productive or necessary for services or anything like that. But you were just telling me there's a bus stop close.
Yes, sir. You can see the ECAT sign right across the street there. Maybe
My
too
camera
far
can
away for
just
your-
barely pick it up. But yeah, that's not very far at all, obviously.
No,
Huh.
it's about a little over a block. So.
Right, and I thought it would be worthwhile to see sort of what kind of neighborhood it is that's close by. Not that it should matter, really. I mean, all people are people. If there's an objection, the objection is because they have it. It doesn't really matter whether it's a wealthy or not neighborhood, but so as you can probably see, it's not a wealthy neighborhood. This is on Fennel Street. So basically it is right back behind there. And there's a couple of streets that turn left when you go back in there and get a little bit closer to it. But basically right behind those trees is where the Satoshi Forest Sean's Outpost is. Right off of Massachusetts.